Hey everybody, today this is a little different. We're going to talk about collecting, and this is about Jacob's chucks. Now Jacob is the last name of the inventor, Jacobs, actually, and his first name was Arthur Irving, AI. Doesn't have anything to do with what we think about as AI today. But in 1902, he had the first idea for a keyed chuck. It was a great idea, and it lasted another 10 years before he improved on the design, which is pretty much unchanged from what you see here today. These all have a little used patina on them. They're all used. They're all American made. So this is tool holding at its best. And it was a problem in 1902. And Arthur worked at a bookbinding place. He was drilling some holes somewhere. It's not exactly clear exactly when it happened or how it happened. But he busted his knuckles trying to put a drill in the chuck and manage the whole machine, and he thought there has to be a better way. So he invented the Jacobs chuck. It was a good idea then, and it's been a good idea for over 100 years. So you can look at this key. It's a bevel gear here on the sleeve, and this is a bevel gear here on this pin. So this is a small pinion bevel gear, and this center distance here is just perfect. It allows you to easily open and close the chuck. It's closing these jaws right here on a drill bit. So he thought it was a good idea. Now these chucks span, this is an 8.5. These are all super chucks, Jacobs super chuck, 8.5 all the way to a 20N, and they have different capacities and sizes. So this will clamp down, it says to 0, and then this one can hold up to a 1-inch bit. So it's a really big range that you can get from these 6 chucks. This is a repair kit for it. This is an old one. New old stock is the term. And this is actually for that little teeny chuck on the far end. But it's got that characteristic Jacobs script. Just like this shipping crate. Really don't know how old this artifact is. It's got a kind of a neat little leather shipping label on it here. I don't know if that's original, looks like it. But this caught my eye in an antique store. And it has the Jacobs script on it there. One of the things that's different about this collection is this service kit, this repair kit. It has service rings so you can take the sleeve off. It's got a set of chuck wedges. These are to remove the arbors on the inside. These reamers are to clean and take the burrs off where the jaws run. So it's a complete service kit, and it looks like it goes, the smallest one says number 1, and the biggest one, let's see, does it have any? Yeah, it says 20N. So this set of service rings, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 of them. Obviously I only have 5 here on deck, but it would do these 5 plus 4 others, 4 smaller ones generally. Well, what draws a guy to make a collection? Well, first of all, Arthur was just a simple guy, and he did it because he busted his knuckles. No college training, just shop skill. Good idea, lasted over 100 years. It's just that simple. It's a good American tool. So in this range of chucks here, it'll go to 0, but I've got a 60 thousandths drill bit in it, 1/16 of an inch or so. And for that little chuck, I also put on it, just for show, the chuck wedges. This is how you would remove the arbor from this chuck. It's a slip fit in this particular instance. So not only is this a Morse taper 3, but up inside the chuck there's another taper, the Jacobs taper, as you would suspect. And to get them apart, you just have to spread them. The chuck wedges do that. And the repair kit comes with several different sizes. These are this big, and there's another set for the smaller ones, and then there's a big set for the big boys. It's pretty big. Again, they all work the same. That's how you take the arbors out. Some arbors are threaded, some arbors are tapered, and some arbors, when you look down on the inside, may also have a fastener on the inside. I've seen those from time to time. Now, we just looked at this small chuck. That's a 60 thousandths bit, and this is the 20N, and it can hold up to a 1-inch bit. It's got a 1/2-inch bit in there now. As far as the capacities go, the 14N is a real favorite of mine because it goes all the way down to 0, but it goes all the way up to 1/2 inch. So it's got a great capacity range. If you're looking for an all-purpose player, this is the one. But if you want to go bigger, these all do about the same thing, but the 20N has this enormous 3/8 to 1-inch capacity. It's got a really big capacity, so it can drill with some large bits. Now, when you're rebuilding these chucks, one of the ways to look at it to know that it needs to be rebuilt is to look at the ends of the jaws right here. Now, if you close it all the way up, when it's freshly rebuilt like this one, this is very flat, and it closes right there very concentrically. Looks great, feels great, and you can see how easy that sleeve rotates by hand. Now, if you look back down here, you see these jaws. Let me rotate them back out. The jaws are in here at an angle, but they're all round. They start out as round stock. They're just kind of cut in a tapered way, so they'll hold your bit straight. But they're angled back in here, and if you look at this, you can tell it looks like it's round. That's what all of these reamers are for, to make sure that hole is nice and clean, so they run in there real true. So the service kit's got everything, but one of the cool things about the service kit that's super helpful is these service sleeves. We have another video showing how they're used, but basically your chuck sleeve is pressed off using this outer trace, and it's pressed back on using this one. So also they're tall enough so that the ball bearings that are in your chuck don't spill out after you press the sleeve off. So I'd never seen these before until I found this service kit, repair kit, and I've used it a number of times. These are really, really handy, and it allows you to go through a chuck, fix everything, and put it back in top-notch condition. Now, everything that I've shown you here, these are readily available new. They're also readily available on eBay used, and the repair kits are readily available new, McMaster, that type of place. And there's even new old stock repair kits on eBay. And you know, I have an affinity for the American-made stuff, so there's this is the repair kit for this guy, and there's the jaws. When you get one of these, don't get all disappointed because it looks like this is broken, because it is. This is one of the few things you buy that's intentionally broken. There's a place that this goes on the sleeve here, and you can only get this in its place if it's in half. When you compress it in the sleeve, this still acts like a nut, and your jaws need to run on it like this on the inside. Now, the other thing you'll find in there is you got to get the jaws in there. There's 3 of them. It's not that hard, 1, 2, and 3, but you got to get them in the right order. And this center arbor is marked 1, 2, and 3, but you got to know which jaw is 1, 2, and 3. And they always include this really cool little chart. It shows these 3 profiles, number 1, 2, and 3, and that's right here. There's a jaw. Let's see if we can match this one up. There's a jaw right there. So there's number 1, 2, or 3, and boy, this one looks like This one looks like number 1. So there are the jaws. There's the order you need to put them in, and that's what comes in a standard kit. They have expanded kits that also include the ball bearings that are in here, and there's another race that the ball bearings go in and go up against this one, and all those can come in the kit. Now this little slot right here, this little slot right there, is so that you can feed the balls in. And once they're in, you better press the sleeve back on so they don't run out, but you'll pack it with grease so they stay in there. But that's what this is for, just big enough to put a ball bearing in. It's a super clever design. It has stood the test of time for over 100 years.